Well, folks, buckle up. The Daytona 500 just got a whole lot more interesting. Donald Trump, the man who once thought windmills caused cancer, graced the iconic racetrack with his presence. And of course, he couldn't resist turning the sporting event into a platform for his unique brand of political commentary. So, what pearls of wisdom did he bestow upon the good people of Daytona? From peace negotiations to inflation, no topic was safe from his rambling rhetoric. And trust me, you're going to want to hear this. Let's dive headfirst into the rabbit hole of Trump's latest pronouncements. Let's start with the big one, shall we? The question on everyone's mind. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine, a situation that has escalated into a full-blown crisis, a tragedy that has gripped the world's attention for far too long. Families torn apart, cities reduced to rubble, and a global community left in shock. Trump, in his infinite wisdom, decided to use the occasion to tout his supposed peacemaking skills. Yes, you heard that right. According to the man himself, he's been hard at work trying to broker peace between Russia and Ukraine, a self-proclaimed diplomat. He even went so far as to claim that he had a 3-hour conversation with Vladimir Putin, during which he gained a deep understanding of the Russian leader's psyche. Quite the feat, isn't it? Now, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I'm pretty sure you can't become an expert on someone's mental state after a single phone call. But wait, there's more. Trump also suggested that the whole Ukraine situation wouldn't have happened if he were still in office. Bold claim, isn't it? Because apparently his mere presence in the White House was enough to deter Putin from any sort of military adventurism, a deterrent like no other. And if that wasn't enough, Trump also weighed in on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a long-standing issue with deep-rooted complexities, claiming to have personally brokered a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Quite the peacemaker, isn't he? It's like that time he claimed to have invented the word fake news. Spoiler alert, he didn't. But in the world of Trump, reality often takes a back seat to grandiose claims. Moving swiftly on from one geopolitical hotspot to another, we find ourselves in the midst of a complex web of international relations. Trump also decided to grace us with his opinions on NATO, an alliance he has often criticized for being outdated and unfair to the United States. He didn't stop there. He also weighed in on the US's role in providing military aid to Ukraine, a topic that has been a point of contention for years. According to the former president, providing Ukraine with the means to defend itself is only going to escalate the conflict, making the situation even more volatile. He argues that this could potentially drag the US into a wider war with Russia, a scenario that no one wants to see unfold. Now, I'm no military strategist, but that logic seems a bit flawed, to say the least. But wait, there's more. Trump also took the opportunity to criticize the European Union for potentially banning US food imports in retaliation for, well, something or other. His comments were as vague as they were inflammatory. It's almost as if he enjoys alienating the very countries we need on our side. His approach to diplomacy is, to put it mildly, unconventional, and because no Trump rant would be complete without a healthy dose of hypocrisy, he then went on to praise India for its high tariffs on US goods. Classic Trump logic. It's a tightrope walk of contradictions and controversies, leaving us all wondering what the next move will be. From Holocaust to Hamas, a tapestry of troubling statements. In a bizarre tangent that only Trump could pull off, he somehow managed to segue from talking about the conflict in Ukraine to discussing Holocaust survivors. It was a moment that left many scratching their heads, wondering how he could make such a leap. Instead, Trump used the occasion to make a vague statement about how horrible the Holocaust was, before quickly moving on to something else. His words seemed to lack the depth and sensitivity that such a topic demands, and as if that wasn't tone-deaf enough, he then proceeded to launch into another rant about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, claiming that he had personally brokered a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. This claim, like many others, was met with skepticism and disbelief. It's like that time he claimed to have invented the word fake news. Spoiler alert, he didn't. His penchant for making grandiose and often unfounded claims is nothing new. The whole thing was just a bizarre and frankly offensive mishmash of historical events and political posturing. It was a spectacle that left many feeling uneasy and frustrated. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion, except the train was being driven by a man who thinks he's the world's greatest conductor. The disconnect between his words and the gravity of the topics he touched upon was glaringly obvious. Eggs, economics and electioneering, the blame game begins. Now let's talk about something that's near and dear to all of our hearts, the price of eggs. According to the former president, the reason your omelettes are costing you an arm and a leg these days is all because of avian flu. But of course, this wouldn't be a Trump rant if he didn't use the opportunity to pat himself on the back and blame his successor for all of America's problems. According to Trump, he was making great strides in combating inflation during his presidency. Let's just say that his grasp of economics is about as firm as his grasp on reality, which is to say, not very firm at all. The verdict on Trump's Daytona declarations. So there you have it, folks, the highlights, or perhaps more accurately, the lowlights, of Donald Trump's latest foray into the world of political commentary. From peace negotiations to egg prices, no topic was safe from his rambling rhetoric and dubious claims. As always, it's important to take everything Trump says with a grain of salt, or perhaps a whole shaker. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go eat an omelette. And thanks to Donald Trump, it's going to cost me my entire life savings. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more updates.